We need a good starting line here.
Do we though? I don't.
That's it. Hum. That was a little early on that hum. Hi, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steve, and this is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast.
Somebody finally bought DOD and Digitech.
Well, somebody finally sold DOD
I
and
know.
Digitech.
Jeez. That's really the issue. It took them forever.
It's funny. So, okay, so I guess the thing off the bat is that
I honestly, to interrupt you, I honestly thought that Samsung was just going to bury them in a vault, and they were so uninterested in the brand, they were like, we don't even want to bother with the paperwork of selling it. So
yeah,
that's the way I thought things were going to go.
No, I think that is not the worst take on what the scenario certainly looked like, and it kind of seemed like the way things were going the last couple years basically amounted to somebody looking at it and saying, "Hey, we need these resistors for all of our other brands that actually make us money,
right? So
you're not going to be able to make pedals anymore."
Who knows?
That was kind of
or they're just like, oh, why are we ordering all these archaic resistors?
Yeah.
Let's close this entire kind of supply chain, because why are we still feeding the supply chain for equipment that doesn't matter? You can hear the dryer, huh?
I'm just hearing a hum. I think it is the dryer. It's fine. It's fine.
It's the dryer, and everything is accentuated in the headphones. So that probably won't be in the final mix. And if it is, don't worry, guys. My clothes are getting dry. Yeah, but anyways, back to DOD and Digitech.
So yeah, I think it was a big surprise, and I think was it 2 weeks ago, Ryan Bruce riffs gears and beards, riff beards and gears. Yeah. I don't remember. On Twitter said something about I heard DOD from a source that DOD Digitech isn't going away. Announcement to come by the end of the week. And then it didn't come until the end of the next week.
Right.
And I thought about giving him crap about it on Twitter, but I didn't because I just didn't want to make myself a target.
Steve, make us a target on Twitter. It would be so much fun if we were a target on Twitter.
Well, now that you have joined me on Twitter, it'll be more fun.
I updated our header and our logo, and I've spent the past 2 days just goofing off on Twitter a little bit. So I don't know if I'm there to stay, but I've been goofing off on it a little bit. So anyways, we buried the lead. Cortec, Cort, the brand Cort, bought DOD and Digitech. As far as I'm aware, they've never made pedals before.
I think the closest that I could tell that they have come to this is they do make amplifiers. I found this out. I didn't know that they made amplifiers.
What amps do they make?
They're all Cort branded amps.
Oh, okay. Are they making them or are they OEM?
I don't know. I don't know. But I don't think about this from the perspective of do they make these things? But do they have experience managing this type of brand?
Totally.
And the reality is Cort makes guitars for themselves, and they make guitars, basses.
I mean, they make guitars for Squire,
and they make them for
PRS, Ibanez, a bunch of different brands get made by Cort.
I don't know. Oh yeah, no, they do, because currently the Cort, when PRS came out with the Silver Sky SE, they made a big deal about the fact that they were being made by Cort. So they have a lot of experience with their own brands. But it's also the first time that, as far as I can tell, that they are managing a brand unless they're going to start releasing Cort guitar pedals.
Right.
It's kind of their only subsidy that I could tell. I didn't look super hard into it, but it's not obvious.
They don't own any other brands as far as we know. They have their own brand of guitars with their own lines of guitars within that brand, but then they OEM for other brands.
Yeah.
Big brands go through Cort to have their stuff made. It'll be interesting to see what that looks like. I'm a little bit bummed. I mean, DOD Digitech pedals have not been manufactured in America for a very long time, but I mean, one of DOD's signature marketing catchphrase is America's Pedal brand.
Yeah.
And that's over now. It's no longer American's Pedal Company, you know?
So going back to the lawyer thing, so again, Ryan Bruce said something was happening. And of course, there was a lot of speculation.
Sure.
And my speculation was that in some of the circles I'm in was that if anybody had the dedication to buying this off and the fortitude to try to figure out how to navigate Samsung, I thought JHS was going to buy the rights to the DOD Digitech name.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know if they have enough money, but I'm thinking about American brands that maybe would have cared enough to do it.
I guess looking back on, the past year of Josh doing a lot of work researching DOD.
Yeah.
Like, I guess that could have happened, and maybe JHS did intend to make a bid somehow, and this no one's spoken about it. But I would be really surprised if that did happen. Like, there's a lot of people have a lot of opinions about JHS, and the people who are fans of JHS have said in the past that they believe that JHS has the size to do various things, like manufacture tubes and things like that.
Right.
And they 100% don't. I guess it's not that much of a stretch to imagine that they could functionally buy DOD Digitech and then put together a different team.
Well,
I guess it's not outside the realm of possibility, but I don't know their financials, but I haven't gotten the impression that they're big enough to do something like that.
Yeah, and I think the way that it would have to play out for it to actually be any good is, like, I guess I'm imagining, and this is just pure speculation, right? I'm imagining a scenario. Well, it'd be almost like the Chase Bliss scenario where Joel, cut his teeth working for ZVEX.
Right. And
then he said, I want to go do my own thing. So I'm imagining like somebody who's like currently like a circuit designer or something for JHS, who's like, I kind of want to go do my own thing. And it's somehow, there being this conversation about like, well, what if we bought the rights to all of the DOD stuff? Would you be interested in like reviving that?
I could
and doing obviously like that's like a movie script.
Right. I could have seen JHS buying DOD but not Digitech.
Well, and
because like for as much stuff as JHS does, they don't do digital.
Yeah.
They don't. They do almost everything they do is analog. I'm sure there are some digital controllers here and there and stuff like that. And there's digital delays and reverbs that have digital components, of course. But they're not doing the hardcore digital stuff that Digitech was doing.
Right.
So it's hard to imagine them tackling that. It would have to be a new company under ownership of JHS Incorporated or something.
Let's be honest. From a movie script, the JHS scenario is the one that I think would have made the most sense. From a reality of the gear industry, I mean, we all thought Cusack was going to buy it, right?
Cusack does like to buy out the scrap of old companies that. I would have a tough time seeing. I think he would buy in remaining inventory. I have a tough time seeing him revitalizing the company. What I think would have been interesting is if Boss would have bought them. It would have been like a Disney buying, Marvel sort of situation.
Or how to say, is it a Disney buying Hanna-Barbera situation?
Sure, yeah. Because if you rewind the clock enough, it's like it would be like that because it would be, Disney buying one of their previous competitors sort of thing in a space. Like DOD Digitech was Boss's competitor, and to have them be owned by Boss would have been a really interesting twist. And then I'd wonder if like I'm fiddling with the battery over here, and I'm wondering if they would have relegated DOD or Digitech to be like a budget line, like a Squire or an Epiphone under the Boss umbrella, or they might have been like, let's make it what it deserves to be. It's kind of like how when we were kids, the urban myth floating around grade school, elementary school, was that someone's dad worked at Sega. And he said, or he worked at Nintendo, and he said that Sonic was going to be in the next like Mario game. Like that was a big thing. Like that's what it would be like. It's like, hey guys, Digitech and DOD are going to be, in the next boss release.
So one thing that
excuse you.
Excuse me. I don't know if the details are out. I don't know even how to find these kinds of details. But I kind of wonder how much it cost Court to get, because I from what I understand, they got not just the name rights, but they also got, whatever what they got with it is, the inventory.
A lot of what you get when you buy a company like that is an inventory, and the designs are one thing, and the rights to names and things like that are important, but the distribution. You're buying the distribution. Your
distribution could be interesting because I don't know what DOD's current distribution is.
They're already selling in Sweetwater. You're buying a company that's already selling in Sweetwater and various other big retailers. The paperwork is already there. There's already a supply chain. Yeah. So if Court is like, we want to have a pedal company and we want to immediately be in major retailers, that's what they're buying.
Well, so what I'm interested in seeing in the next, and I figure they gotta, I figure any pedal that is released in the next year or so, I guess. I'd say a year.
I'd be surprised if they had that quick of turnaround.
Well, one thing I remember, and I think we've talked about it before years ago, is that supposedly when Harman started shutting things down over at DOD, there was 2 to 3 years of designs ready to produce already in the pipeline.
Yeah.
So anything that gets manufactured that's a new pedal in the next year or so is a
might have already been
prototyped back before all of the design team was let go.
Well, I wonder how much of that is, files in a computer somewhere, or how much of that is circuit boards in a big box in Tom Cram's house. Only Tom Cram knows.
Right. And so what's interesting is also people asked Tom Cram about it, and he was just like,
he's pretty tight-lipped.
I don't know what you guys are so excited about, which is the other side of this. Is Court is a company that is a proven entity in the guitar space, but hey, who loves Fender pedals?
Right.
Nobody put their hands up. Super weird. Guitar. Who loves Gibson pedals? Oh,
a couple of them are okay. I like some of the new Maestros.
Yeah, it's like,
and Fender does have a couple good pedals, but it definitely is like they've had a rough start.
Yeah.
Like getting excitement going on for those lines. Like people have been pretty skeptical towards them. And I don't know how well they've sold. I mean, I really like the Fender tube tremolo that I have, but I wasn't hot on the Fender tree reverb
these
stuff.
These are rhetorical questions.
I know. Okay, sorry.
Who loves Ernie Ball?
Right.
Like guitar manufacturers don't.
They strike out.
Somebody's going to be like, well, I love this pedal, and that's not the point. Is the reality is that they're few and far between.
Have you ever heard of a little pedal company called Ibanez? And their tuba screamer.
That is probably the one.
That's the exception.
The one exception.
That's a big exception.
Yeah, the only exception. that is the Paramore.
No, I think throughout
of guitar brands, it's the only exception.
Throughout the history of pedals and guitar companies, there have been very few guitar brands that manufacture the instrument of a guitar that also have had big commercial success manufacturing pedals, and vice versa. Think of a pedal company that's had success manufacturing a guitar that's really blown up. I can't think of a single one.
Yeah. And that's not like a knock on any of, again.
I mean, Boss is trying to make a guitar. Moore sent me their guitar. But it's like, are they actually manufacturing these things, or are they having them made for them? Are they concept pieces, or is it the introduction of a serious line? The future will tell.
Okay, so I want to go two directions from here. I want to go negative first because I think it's easier, honestly.
Sure.
What do you think is the worst case scenario in this buyout, data transfer, whatever you want to call it? Title transfer.
Well, I'd say it would be bad if they turned it into some sort of budget line. But the reality is that up until DOD essentially got scrapped in 2018, a lot of their stuff already was very affordable.
Yeah.
Like a lot of their like drive pedals and fuzzes and stuff like that, they would be up for $100. They would be up for $150, things like that. They're not expensive.
Yeah.
I think the worst case scenario is that they try to make new things and they're so far outside of the spirit of DOD. Not that that's easy to do because there's so many DOD and Digitech pedals that are like all over the map. Like,
yeah,
if they revisit like the 90s, 50 different flavors of metal sort of like era of Digitech, like that would be a bit of a bummer. But honestly, like I don't know, it's hard to imagine messing up something that has a bit of, it's a brand that has a bit of like a grindhousey kind of indie funky sort of vibe already. So how do you mess that up? I mean, Tom Cram's version of DOD and Digitech was on a really good path, like doing some really cool, innovative stuff.
I mean, the way you mess it up is, and I think not, the fact that they had good pedals.
If they scrap the case design with the little ridges on the edges, I'll be pissed.
I'll
be pissed.
So I was gonna say the way they mess it up is stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or there's a like you said, there's a couple good pedals that you like. There's a couple pedals on the line that you like. It's like Maestro, where all this stuff comes out and everyone's going, well, where's the fuzz right or whatever,
right.
The super
or what
fuzz.
If they put out something hinting at a DOD 250 and it's really just a tube screamer. Right. Because they couldn't bother to, they looked at the circuit and they're like, well, we already know from our, manufacturing partners that their top seller is this tube screamer variant. So that's got to be a better overdrive.
And I think the only way that something like that happens is if some bean counter sitting there going like, Samsung was manufacturing these pedals for, $5 a piece and selling them for $50 or whatever. Then I don't know the numbers, but but we could just put a generic circuit in here instead of the real circuit and use the same cases and everything. And we could save 75 cents and make thousands more by selling the same number of units. Like that's the kind of thinking that could kind of tank it. I think that is the worst case scenario.
But I feel like Cort is a brand that's revered enough as an import manufacturer, an OEM manufacturer that gets guitars.
Yeah.
Like they get guitar stuff. I don't see them, unless they just bought it and they're going to hire, some agency to run it and they're not going to actually have musicians hands-on with the company. I'm having trouble imagining that happening over there.
For what it's worth, like, you remember the movie Josie and the Pussycats?
Yeah.
So you know what the back line in Josie and the Pussycats is?
Yeah, it's all shoot, it's an S word.
They're all, well, the instruments are all Samics.
Samic, that's it.
The back line
are
all acoustic control amps, because at that time Samic owned the acoustic control brand, and they literally only manufactured amps for that movie, and they didn't do anything else, because I think they made some like prototypes and took them to NAMM and like nobody cared.
Right.
But
then they sold it to Guitar Center.
But then they were like, eventually, I think they did. But it was jarring because that blue back there, that baby blue, right there.
You guys can't see most. You can see the one next to Steve, probably
easier.
Over
here, yeah. This blue right here, that is the classic acoustic blue. And when Samic did it, it was like almost like a bright medium blue.
Right. They changed the blue. They blew it.
So it's like if the new DOD script, all the pedals come out and they have the same names, but all of a sudden it's in the MXR font.
Right.
And you're just like, what is this? So that's
what's your best case scenario for this?
Oh, dude, best case scenario. Best case scenario is they somehow find a way to hire back the entire design team that was laid off or that was let go by Samsung.
Hey, we own this, but we want you to steer the ship and help us make this company what it was before Samsung screwed it.
Pick up where you left off. I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean, they'd probably have to throw a big bag of money at multiple different people to make that happen.
I think
so that would be awesome.
Yeah. I think the realistic best case scenario is that they find the realistic best case scenario is probably they get a George Trips type of a guy who, is way huge, and then he's been at line 6 and he's back at Dunlop again. But one of these guys who's kind of bounced around to a few different brands and
a star like circuit designer.
Yeah, to like run things and like make it his own.
I kind of worry about that though, because then you just get a bunch of stuff that's George Trips flavored.
No. I mean, I don't think you got to get the right guy.
Right.
You don't. I'm not saying you get George Trips. I'm saying you get someone like him.
A best case scenario. One of the best case scenarios could literally just be that they open up the vault and they do the circuits the way they're written down, and they do the R&D to make sure that they check out against previous versions, and they just keep producing whammies and 250s and Carcosa fuzzes and the rubberneck and a bunch of like the phase, a bunch of various classic DODs, and kind of let the brand exist for a while and then start delving into, R&D and figuring out new products.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where this is going. I think part of that R&D is bringing on a good team. But I think if they do what like other brands have done when they bought other brands and basically said, hey, we're going to develop this, or we're going to leave it alone. We're going to hire the right people and then let them do their thing. And we're not going to get our fingers all up in it.
For all we know,
that'll be good.
For all we know, they bought it to sell it.
Yeah.
They might have bought it thinking like, hey, Samsung doesn't know what they're doing with this brand. We saw it up at auction. We bought it cheap. We're going to straighten out the details, and then we're going to sell it to someone who's more interested. They could be an investment thing like that, or they might just sit on it for a while, and so that they have the brand just in case they decide to go that direction someday. Manufacturing and product history, retail history is full of brands that just get bought and then nothing is done with them.
Do you think would be worse if they buy it and they like abuse the brand, like Acoustic as it's currently owned by Guitar Center?
If Guitar Center had bought DOD, I'd be worried.
Yeah,
I totally would.
Do you think that's worse than like, again, I'm using the Acoustic example, like, is Acoustic with Samick, where they basically did nothing, better or worse than Acoustic with Guitar Center, where they're making something, but all they're really doing is taking custom amps and rebadging them?
I think buying it and then crating it is better than buying it and ruining it.
Interesting.
Because then at least it retains some sort of legacy.
Yeah.
Acoustic's legacy has been tarnished by this Guitar Center nonsense.
Yeah.
Like you and I know that acoustic amps of old are amazing. They're like weapons. They're ridiculous. But people who are younger and even older than us, people our age, don't really know about them. People who don't know them outside of being a Guitar Center brand, like they really have no idea. So the brand has been tarnished by that association.
Yeah. So
because that's people are just like, oh, that's just the solid state practice amps from Guitar Center.
Yeah. So I mean, we can speculate about this DOD Digitech thing.
We will.
I think we did. We already did. We've done it.
We've done it. Success.
But I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. That's all I got.
I'm excited for the future. I'm excited that things are happening versus just sitting there with nothing happening, because that's a bummer. It's like, I haven't been consumed by it, but every time I've thought about DOD and Digitech for the past 4 years, it's been like, oh man, that's sad.
Yeah.
I feel sad.
You know what I think, Ryan?
What? So maybe there's a glimmer of hope now.
You know what I think about the future?
Tell me about the future, Steve.
I think, I believe that Patreon is the future. Give us cash and we will lead the way.
Yes.
But this is the part of this that was weird. I don't know what any of those words meant.
Patreon is the future.
But I want to thank
Pledge
these
a buck
folks.
And we will put your name.
Oh, that's way better than what I said.
Up on the screen at the end of the episode.
Wow.
Yeah, I could keep going. I'm not going to, though.
Because the greatest love of all is Patreon. At the $1 level, Nick Call. Thanks for your support, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
At the $5 level are Heath Williamson, Mark Arndt, and Luke Guilo. I'm not sure how to
These are
pronounce
$5 boys.
$5 boys.
Thank you,
And
$5
at the
boys.
$25 level, which is the bragging rights level, is Matt Strauss.
Damn, Matt.
So
Good going, Matt.
yeah, so
You paid for dinner tonight, Matt.
whether it's $25 or $1, everything counts, man. Everything adds up. So we appreciate
Everything-
you guys. If you
you know
want if you want to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/60cyclehumcast.
Patreon is literally what the song is about. Everything counts in small amounts. That's Patreon, everybody.
What song is that?
Isn't it Tears for Fears or is that The Cure? I can't remember. It's a song.
I think it is Tears for Fears.
I think it's Tears for Fears.
All right, let's do an ad.
All right, we'll do an ad. If
You wanna
say
do
so,
an ad,
Steve.
Ryan?
Yeah, this is a natural electric guitar sent by Michael Krause, who we still need a nickname for.
I
This-
think his nickname is Mike.
This, I can't really totally figure out exactly what's going on here. I don't know if it's the Stratosphere, someone bought some parts and then did some other parts, or if it is a full-on, like full-blown Fibson.
I think it's a Fibson.
I think you might be right. This
No,
is
that's not a Fibson. It's a Chender.
a Chender. It's somebody's attempt at doing a knockoff Acoustasonic Telly. And I brought my Acoustasonic down out of the office to do some visual comparisons because there's some funky things going on here. Like right off the bat, it looks like it's tough because no other guitars really look like that. Like it is a very specific design. And I know there's people who are angry about the existence of the Acoustasonics for whatever reason. They're like, oh, I could do that in my backyard for $5, blah, blah, blah. Well, here it is.
Yep.
Like, this is-
Somebody did it in their backyard, all right.
Why don't we do it in the road? In some interesting design choices here where it deviates from the original. I've got it off camera here. I keep looking at it. I've got the Jazzmaster style Acoustasonic. Mm-hmm. It has some sort of big soap bar humbucker, like a cream plastic covered soap bar humbucker in the bridge position.
It looks like a GFS, like Surf 180 to me.
It might
Something
be.
along those
It might be
lines.
like gold covered or chrome, but to me in this picture it looks plastic.
Oh no, I think it is. I think it's cream. I think it's a cream plastic cover.
Whoops, I'm banging this thing around.
Oh, Ryan.
So what I want to point out is a little bit hard to tell, but you can kind of catch the drift looking at the photo. I think this center part here, it has the binding, but I think it's raised.
No, it is.
And I think
is.
it's an overlay over the body because it's raised around the sound hole as well.
Yeah.
Which is...
It looks like somebody, whoever is building this, took an acoustic, like a thin body acoustic, and then slapped a wood pick guard on top of it. Like that's basically what that is.
You can tell that the way the neck terminates the end of the fretboard is completely different too.
Yeah.
It totally looks like someone's making blanks of this body, and then to get the overlay look, to get the different wood look that is an inlay in this guitar, they're doing an overlay that has raised edges on it. It has completely different.
The execution of the this part, the neck plate,
The heel
is like so wrong.
Yeah.
It's close, but
Visually they're going that direction.
Yeah.
I mean the shape of the control plate is different.
yeah.
I mean that could just be because this is a Jazzmaster shape. I sold my Telly version to Robert because he was interested in it. I don't need two of these things around. Also, this has kind of vintage style tuners, but they're not split top.
No, these are just regular Fender tuners.
It's hard. It's a printed logo, and the logo's the wrong scale on the headstock, where the real Acoustasonics have a laser cut or cut out
Laser beam.
logo. Like someone really made an attempt at doing a clone of this, which is interesting because this is a guitar that is controversial, you know, but also it's a guitar that is not inexpensive. So I guess I can see why that would happen. Oh yeah, that like their neck plate is cut in a lot deeper, and there's just a bunch of open space.
Yeah.
The body cut might be very similar, but their neck plate doesn't match up at all.
I would say everyone. So this one,
and you know that
this is the American.
What is that?
Jazzmaster, right?
We're hearing all sorts of sounds in the house right now. Is that a bathtub?
Probably. This is the American Jazzmaster.
Yeah.
Body. So this is what, $2,000?
I don't remember. I think it's like 17.
17. The Mexican version, the Player Series one, is $1,200.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone has argued that, like you said, they can make this in their backyard, and this person did for apparently $250. So
that's what they're trying to sell it for.
It says it's sold.
Yeah, well, that doesn't mean that's what they sold it for, but it did sell.
Yeah, it's sold. It was listed for $250, and it says looking to sell, open to trades for acoustic, U-bass, or electric bass.
It is interesting how like certain little details do make it look so much trashier than this.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people who don't like the look of this. They have problems with the design of this visually. They don't like various details, but this does look. It looks worse than 250. I'll say that.
I think this is one where you really have to play it, but for what it's trying to do,
there's no mention of any sort of like acoustic electronics in any way. It really might just be a humbucker pickup going to output, but it does have a 3-way switch and it has a little extra toggle.
Yeah,
so maybe there's something going on there. Like the controls are all different. They didn't try to duplicate the look of the knobs or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I don't know. Like, do you see this local? Do you take a risk on it?
Well, I mean, I think it's obviously not a Fender, and so if you're not in the market for it, then I don't think you do. But if you want like a weird,
it's sold. Someone wanted it.
I guess.
Someone wanted it,
yeah.
And it sold, which is interesting to me. Like. A lot of people say that they absolutely do not want these, but then they want them enough to buy a crappy looking copy for $250 maybe.
Doesn't want this, but someone else did.
Right.
It's not the same someone, right? They're different someones.
I just think it's interesting that suddenly we're seeing fakes of this guitar show up when so many people on the internet have acted like they're so far above it. And like, oh, it just shouldn't exist. Literally, no one wants this for any reason. But apparently, obviously, a lot of people do want it.
Yeah.
Because they're into the concept. Like, it's just not your normal, everyday, like electric guitarist that wants it. But there's a whole middle ground of people that want something that fits in between the norms, Mm-hmm. And apparently, people want it enough that fakes can exist in the market. That is very interesting. So what do you guys think? Would you pay $250 for a really rough looking version of an ACOUSTASONIC that's a copy that's probably illegal to sell?
I feel like this thing would look a lot better if it was just the body with without trying to do the top.
Yeah, like I think because they tried to do too many of the details, like just do the concept but come up with your own look sort of thing. Like leave it natural, don't try to do the overlay sort of thing, because I think that's really what screwed it up. Like the fact that they're making the carved body underneath is compelling to me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But maybe it's not. God, I mean, look at like the globs of like glue and stuff, and like.
No, there's some sloppy details on that.
Yeah, and just the way that the end of the fretboard is rounded off, really funky there. Like it just looks like this thing hurts to play, and the headstock is a weird shape. And look, there's a weird glob of glue on the headstock, filling something in.
Those are really cheap tuners too.
Oh yeah, it's this.
Like I'm pretty sure that's
And
that real
everything's-
cheap ferrule.
Everything's mismatched. Like, what is this string tree? What does that have to do? It's a black string
What
tree.
does it have to do?
No, wait, like, it's a black string tree paired with chrome vintage style tuners.
Right.
Like, I had some weird questions about it when I first saw it, but I was like, every part of this is fake, so it's a fake, right? This whole thing's, I kept expecting to be like, well, maybe that's the body and stratosphere parted one out. No, it's not. Maybe that's the neck. No, it's not.
I've got some weird questions too. Like, why?
Why? Where?
How dare you? All right.
Those aren't really that weird of questions,
I know.
Steve.
This episode is brought to you guys by Big Ear Pedals. I got the loaf right here because it's what bunnies do. There you go.
Yeah. It also stands for low AF, which is what I say it stands for.
This is your loaf, and all of the knobs are turned all the way up.
Yeah, baby.
I got my pedal board back, and all of the knobs are turned all the way up on every pedal.
Well, when you see the video, you'll understand.
I have. So that means presumably at the same time, there was an octave fuzz, a regular fuzz, a rat,
Yes.
and the Stevis and Burkhead all turned on all the way up at the same time.
I'm going to say it was mucho pulpo in here. Many arms.
All right. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to those videos coming out. But if you want to get on the train that everyone at Guitar House was very excited about, I mean, we've seen the reels getting posted during the event.
Yeah.
People were really excited about Big Ear pedals.
I grabbed your board. I took off your pedals that were not Big Ear. I put my own Big Ear pedals
you
on there.
did leave a Boss DD5 on there. I appreciate
I'm going to blur that out. No one has to see that. I didn't want to mess with the signal chain too much. I just didn't have another Big Ear pedal to fill that spot. We put out the pedal board with all the Big Ear pedals on it, and we just started playing with it. We were swapping in and out. One person was playing while another person was operating it like a signal board, like a telephone board sort of thing. Yeah. And at the end of the video, we had everyone in here turning knobs at the same time, turning knobs on amps. Like, it was beautiful, beautiful chaos. It was so much fun. And I'm really looking forward to like when Grant and Karen get to see it, because I think they're going to really love it.
Head on over to bigearpedals.com, get on their mailing list, follow them on socials, find out when the next batches of things are coming out.
Grant and Karen are getting geared up to move right now. They're moving away from...
I think did they not move already? I don't know.
I talked to him.
They're definitely moving soon.
I talked to him a few days ago, and it sounds like the details went through on the house that they're getting.
Okay.
So I have a feeling it's going to be a week or so of them moving soon. So yeah, if you're planning on buying a pedal direct from them, it might take a little bit, but I'd put in the order now, because who knows how long it'll be until Grant is building again. He was doing a live stream last night building L's.
Oh,
feverishly.
Cool.
So there will be L's available, I think, while they're
Sweet.
moving, which is a great pedal, by the way. He was talking. I was watching him on TikTok do a live stream, and he was talking about how they've never done a stereo pedal because he did a poll, and 25% of people use stereo sometimes. Which means that maybe 5% of people use stereo all the time. So it's like, there's not a huge market for that. But it would be interesting to see a stereo L. I mean, you could just buy two.
Yeah.
Just buy two of them.
All right, what's new, Ryan?
What's new? What do I do? What do I lead with? I should talk about the guitar.
No, I'm going to lead with this.
Okay.
And you can talk about the guitar. I'm going to lead with this. Gretsch updated.
Oh, yeah.
The Junior Jet Bass, or the Jet Bass 2 page, and it now says it is, I think, Gretsch single coil pickup.
Yeah.
So
we did it, guys.
We did it. Low End Lobster, you did it. Good job.
What's his greeting? Salutations, crustaceans.
Oh yeah. The thing is apparently they just kind of like slipped it in there, and I guess from what there
hasn't been a big announcement or press release or anything like that.
There's no major announcement. I guess there's now, I don't know if it's a rumor or confirmed, that if you have one of these, you can contact Gretsch customer support and they will send you like $100 to get a new set of pickups.
No, I was watching their live stream. I was watching Low End Lobster's live stream last night, and it sounds like it might be a swag gift card.
Oh, is that what it is?
There's $100 in Gretsch swag, so shirts and stuff like that.
Okay, I must have. I definitely could have.
I might be getting those details wrong. I was in and out of the live stream, but that's the gist I was getting. So if you have one of those bases, figure out the details.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's $100. Fender Gretsch are offering $100 credit to their gift store for owners of the instrument who reach out.
Yeah.
So
$100 towards Gretsch stuff. I mean, get yourself some pint glasses and a shirt or something like that, I guess.
Yeah, but it's also like kind of weird because it's like, hey, we scammed you. Here's some more. Scam is a strong word, but hey, we misrepresented our product. Here's some free stuff.
Yeah.
So you can rep us in the field.
That is a weird point.
Right?
That is true. Oh, sorry that we kind of like completely misrepresented our product, and now you're super bummed, and now you want to wear our stuff. You want to represent us?
Yeah. I mean, it's everyone can have their own take on it. It's fine. I know we got lots of comments on that video. We're like, well, it's a $300 base. Who cares? I'm like,
apparently some people do care. My thing is like,
I think it's okay to care.
If you've always liked that bass, you have that bass and you like it, nothing's changed for you.
Yeah.
If you bought one and you've always been bummed that it's making a hum, you've got the bummer of a Hummer. Got a bummer Hummer? I don't know. That's not a shirt. I'm not going to put that on a shirt. Then do what you got to do. Get yourself some swag and sell me that set of pickups. I want to buy a set of those pickups. I will buy them from you. I'll only buy one set of them. So whoever is trying to sell a set of those pickups, I am your man. I want a set of those pickups. So hit me up however you can find me. Email us.
Want some bad. Okay.
Find me on Facebook, Instagram, wherever. Let's talk.
Yeah.
I want to buy a set of them.
All right. What else is new?
I bought a Gibson. Well, I didn't buy it. I traded for a Gibson.
Yeah.
Les Paul.
Yeah, you did.
I did. Right after Guitar House was done. I've been holding on to a bunch of guitars forever because I knew Guitar House was coming up, and I wanted to make sure that I had a ton of guitars here for people to film with and to try in case, like, oh, I've always wanted to try one of those. I can film with one of those. So I've been holding out on selling stuff and getting rid of stuff for months now. So right after Guitar House was done, I listed that D'Angelico Deluxe Brighton, which is a great guitar. It's just I don't use it very often.
You mean D'Angelico?
D'Angelico Deluxe
D'Angelico Loco
Britain? I don't know. So anyways, I listed it and I was like, this thing's going to take a while because this is such a specific guitar and you really got to want it. I actually got a hit, only one hit, like 24 hours after I listed it. And the guy was like, would you take a trade for a Gibson? He didn't give me a lot of information. And I was like, tell me more. And he's like, well, I've got this Les Paul Studio. I'm like, well, send me pictures. I kept having to ask for more details.
Right.
So he sent me pictures and it's all an all black studio. And I thought about it for a couple hours. I talked with Steve about it. And kind of the consensus we came to, it's going to be way easier to sell a Les Paul.
Yeah.
Like if I don't like it, it's going to be so much easier to sell a Les Paul. So here it is. I went and did the trade yesterday as of recording this podcast, which was last Wednesday. Here it is, an all black Les Paul Studio. People out there in the audience, what do you think it weighs? What do you think a guitar like this weighs? That's a good guess. All right, that's decent. No, you're way off. That's the wrong guess.
Yeah.
This guitar weighs 7 pounds, 6.9 ounces.
Is that what it was?
That's what it was.
I was surprised.
I remembered because 6.9 is a lot like the number 69, which is a nice number.
And I can remember, or I can like.
It is a light.
It is
Les Paul.
extremely. It's lighter than mine, which mine is the light model.
Like I'm holding it right now, and I can't believe how light it is. Yeah. Like I'm barely gripping it with my hand.
You should grip it better then.
You can hear the chambering.
It's kind of a trip. I did not realize that a few years ago Gibson started doing this. They call it ultra modern weight relief. I think they only do it on some models. They don't do it on all their models. I'm not sure which ones they do and which ones they don't. But yeah, all of the Les Paul Studios The lightest Les Paul Studio at Sweetwater right now in black is 7 pounds 14 ounces, but the rest of them are between 8 and 9 pounds, which is very light.
Yeah.
For the classic Les Paul, oh, this guitar is so heavy.
It's fun, by the way, that you can go on Sweetwater and see what everything weighs, like the individual guitars. That's fun.
But yeah, very lightweight. It plays good. It plays good enough.
I think it plays great. I wish the action was a little bit lower. If only there was a way to change that.
Yeah.
I'm going to make adjustments to it. I'm going to spend some time with it. I'm going to probably make some videos with it. And I think eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a really hard decision. I'm going to make a decision between keeping this or keeping my SG.
Ooh.
And the SG is a lot more visually interesting, but I feel like I might enjoy playing this more than the SG. I've always been a little bit iffy with how I get along with the SG.
Well, you know, Ryan, your SG, it's just got just GFS pickups in it.
No, that's got Sonic pickups.
Oh, that has this. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, that's so you should move the Sonic pickups into this.
Well, I haven't decided if I dislike or like the pickups in this. What if I really like the pickups?
The 498 490 combo in this Gibson Les Paul Studio.
He's been waiting all night. He's been so excited. How does that feel, Steve? Does it feel like you just took a big poop? You're all cleared out
in my pants. It's not great.
So now I've got myself a classic boomer guitar here. I got myself a real Les Paul. I've never owned a real Les Paul before.
You know, Ryan, because it doesn't have binding, and it has a rosewood neck instead of an ebony neck. It's not a real Les Paul. It's one of those fake new Gibsons.
It doesn't have a cherry burst, so it's not a real Les Paul.
Yeah.
Let us know when you get yourself off of the training wheels, kid, and get yourself a real Les Paul.
Oh, it doesn't weigh 15 pounds. Not a real Les Paul.
I was playing it last night on the couch, and I was having a great time with it. To me, it sounds like what you expect a Les Paul to sound like. It has these push bowls, which Steve and I were messing around with, and it doesn't sound like traditional push bowls. It sounds like there's something different going on with the wiring of those pickups to do that.
Yeah, the website says that they are coil taps.
I think my least favorite part of this guitar is the color. I am not a fan of all black guitars. I'll say that, especially shiny black where it just shows every single fingerprint. I've got it kind of decently polished right now. I mean, it does look pretty on the monitor.
It looks so nice, man.
It looks like a beautiful, beautiful, like horse running on the beach. Like it looks like muscular and sleek. Like I get why people like black guitars, but I don't like the way that they pick up fingerprints and stuff. And now that I have a blue background instead of the gray background, it'll look better in videos than it would have back in the day. But I don't know. The finish is the biggest bummer to me.
You mentioned earlier that when you took the back plate off, that it has the Gibson PCB in it. Do you remember if that has dip switches on it?
I don't remember seeing dip switches.
Okay, because I know there's one version of that circuit board where, depending on how the dip switches are set, it changes what the push-pull pots do.
I'll open it again and see.
But I think that might only have been on like on the quote modern. I think now they call it the modern, the Les Paul Modern. It used to be the Les Paul High Performance that had that.
Right.
I don't know if they ever put that on every Les Paul model.
Watch me become a Gibson boy now.
You could.
I'm just going to start hanging out with Mark Agnesi all the time. Sorry, I mangled your name just now, Mark. We're going to be best friends.
Oh, Mark Agnudi, huh? You and Mark Agnudi hanging out?
Agnesi? Mark Agnesi?
You and Mike Agnudi hanging out again?
Mike Agnudi.
You want to open some mail, man? Do we only have two pieces?
I've had charming and wonderful conversations with Mark.
No, I know. It's just funny because you said his name wrong, so I was going to say it wronger for you.
So a weird other thing?
A weird other thing.
Rob Chapman commented on one of my Instagram posts the other day.
Oh, I saw that.
I didn't even know I was on his map. I didn't know he was. Maybe Instagram was like, here, Rob Chapman, take a look at this post. Like, even if he doesn't follow me, maybe he does follow me. Hi, Rob, if you're watching. I wasn't expecting him to comment on something, though.
I forget what it was.
It was Perfecto messing around with the F chord trainer.
Oh, you know, he probably knows Perfecto.
He knows Perfecto. That's why.
That's why.
It's not.
That makes a lot more sense.
It does make a lot more sense. Yeah, let's open some mail. I don't have my regular knife over here. I don't know where it
over
is.
here.
Oh, it's over there. Okay. You use my knife, and I've got a box cutter here for the other one.
I got this. I don't need it.
Steve likes to use his razor sharp fingers. And this is how I cut every letter open.
There's some things in here.
I hope so.
Here's an envelope in an envelope.
Who's it from?
It's from Michael Kraus.
Michael Kraus! The Ad Blaster. We've got to find a nickname for Michael Kraus.
Ad Blaster?
The Ad Man himself. I don't know. Did you cut that?
No, it's already cut.
It's already cut. What do we have here?
It's a They Might Be Giants air freshener.
What? Where is... Oh, let me go get the Cyclone.
It's not a sticker. It's an air freshener.
And it looks like it's Christmas themed.
Yeah, it's like a Christmas ornament air freshener.
Do I open it?
I don't know.
I kind of want to keep
There's no note.
Avoid contact with surrounding surfaces? That sounds dangerous.
It probably is because it's like scented. It's like probably like soaked in oil. So
it smells like soap. I kind of don't want to open it.
Then don't open it. We'll put it over here with the alien.
All right. Oh, bring me the alien. Bring me the alien. I have been staring at this since we got it in the mail, and I want to open it, even though I know technically that will devalue it. These are a type of toy that like people do collector's stuff with, and they leave them in the packages. It's Dream Rocket is the name of the company. And I looked on eBay, and not this one. This one goes for like $100. Yeah. But there's some of them that go for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bucks. But I want to open it. I want to release the little guy. I'm going to open it right now.
Open it in a way where you can put it back in the bag when you're done.
You think I should pry the staples open?
Maybe. Or, I mean, you could just take the cardboard off slowly.
No.
You're just going to rip it?
I'm going to commit. It's 39 of 100.
Right, there's only 100 of these.
This is stupid because I want to hold it. I want to put it on the shelf, and I want to have it be presentable. And it doesn't look like much when it's in the bag. Like I want to keep it forever. So... Like, it's stupid that I have to worry about this. This is idiotic that I have to worry about, like, devaluing a toy. I'm just doing it. Maybe I'll be the only person who's ever opened one of these.
Bent staples. It's now only worth $75.
Yeah. It'll come with the original tag someday.
More bent staples, $50.
But not the original staples. And, air will have touched the toy itself, even though this is not an airtight packaging. And so this will be worthless when my great-grandchildren take it to Antiques Roadshow.
NRFB!
But I like this little guy. There he is. Hello. I want to put a little LED underneath him.
No, that would be cool.
Make him like a little mascot or something like that.
Look at how it glows.
It's not going to glow in this bright light, Steve.
That's the sound of all the money disappearing when you open this up.
Let's see if there's any stickers in this. There's 2 envelopes. For Ryan's eyes only, for Steve eyes only.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
This is from Ben Cora.
Do not allow me to see whatever is in that envelope, Steve. I cannot see
letters.
it. I will not gaze upon it. Okay. P.S. You guys should have a heated debate about which sticker to put on the guitar. The losers can go to your kids. Here are some arguments for your sticker. It's JHS related. We all love JHS. Underpants. Steve's sticker is dumb. Okay. Hey, okay, so that was supposed to be the P.S. Here's the first letter. Ryan, don't tell Steve, but you could totally run this podcast without him. Steve is just okay. Love all your guys' content. Much love to you both. At Smack of All Trades /Ben. So I've got a JHS Underpants sticker. What did you get?
I've got a JHS Unicorn sticker. I mean, you can kind of wrap it around a pickup like that.
No, we want to cover paint is the idea. And I think the
underwear is going to cover way more paint.
Underwear is going to cover more paint. So I think we're going to go with the underwear.
I think you put the underwear, well.
We're all getting all droppy here. And plus my kids will love the unicorn.
I think you put the underwear upside down right here. You cover all that space. No? No, I left a little spot.
Oh no!
It's the end of the world.
So now there's some underwear next to Mike Tyson's face. Mike Tyson's going to track me down and punch me in the mouth.
Just don't harass him on an airplane, okay? All right, man. You got anything else new?
Is that something that happened? Did someone harass him on an airplane?
Someone was like apparently on shrooms, and they got up behind Mike Tyson. We're like, "Hey, it's Mike Tyson. Hey, Mike. Whatever." And then he got up and like reached over and started like punching the dude in the head. Because the guy was just like, I don't know.
You know what? You shouldn't mess with anyone on an airplane.
Yeah.
Leave people alone. I'm not saying you should punch anyone in the head if someone messes with you, but leave people alone on an airplane. It's a no talking zone.
What am I doing?
Like, do not talk to the people around you unless they are making eye contact with you, and they're like, have that, please talk to me, look in their eye. But it won't be me. I don't want to talk to you on a plane. All right. You know what? If I'm on a plane and you're a guitar person, you're a guitar fan, you want to talk to me, you can talk to me on the plane. If we're sitting next to each other.
Ryan, you know who else this episode was brought to you by?
But I will punch you in the head. It's brought to you by Chaseless Audio.
That's right. And Chaseless Audio makes pedals more creative than you are, like The Habit.
Which I have right here in my hand. Speaking of Guitar House, which we weren't, but now we are. We did a video because Chaseless sponsored Guitar House. Mm-hmm. They sent a Habit to all of the guests that came here. Mm-hmm. We played 6 Habits at the same time.
Wild.
It was way more useful than you'd think. It definitely, all the Habits joined together and they achieved
sentience.
They achieved sentience for sure, but not just like intelligent sentience, emotional sentience. I think it was the sound was very emotionally in touch with itself. It was mature, but it was still chaos and nonsense. And I'm hoping to get that video up soon. So keep an eye out for that. This is a really fun pedal. I've barely scratched the surface of learning it. I need to get deep into the manual and learn how to do the other 80% of what it does because, oh my gosh, there is a lot going on here. But it sounds really fun. And it's another one of those pedals where you can dial it in like a normal delay and use it like a normal delay and then slightly start blending in freaky little bits and artifacts and stuff or little modulations and ways to affect the signal and then go full blown from there. But it starts out. That's a very useful and delightful sounding delay. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'm going to put that on my board soon. Next time I play live, I'm going to use that and really freak out some people at church.
Head on over to chaselessaudio.com.
Next 2 ads?
Do it. Next ad. Yeah, this was actually sent by Michael Krause himself.
Another Michael Krause ad.
This is the last guitar show I set up at. People were begging me to set up their guitars because mine all played so well. I have accepted $100 to set up someone's guitar, but I do not do that for the general public. What?
You missed the first part of this.
Is there a first part?
Yeah.
Oh. Washburn Falcon Vintage 80s Japan 160. I will not respond to generic. Is it available? This is available if you see it. Generic messages, whatever.
Yeah, I put all this in because
this has very low action, about 3/64 of an inch at the 12th fret. Intonation is spot on. This definitely is for the player who wants an exceptionally well playing guitar which sounds great and doesn't care about its checkered past. Okay, the things I just said. Has those killer Japanese DiMarzio super distortion clone pickups which sound pretty much spot on. Unfortunately, someone thought they were a luthier and decided to hack this up. Here we go.
This is it. Because like you look at the pictures and you're like, that's actually an attractive guitar. Yeah. Kind of gives me like vintage Hamer kind of vibes. Like this early like 80s shredder double cut takes sort of thing. It goes some wild directions, though.
This was originally a hardtail, but someone decided they wanted a vibrato and carved the cavity for it. The bridge is now in the correct place and intonates correctly, and the routing is hidden on the back by the cover. You can still see the edge a bit behind the bridge from the top. Also, this is a bolt-on neck that goes under the neck pickup, and for some reason the neck was cut at the heel and a piece of wood was reattached at the correct angle to get it secure.
If you're listening to the audio podcast, you've got to go to the Imager library.
This is solid and functional, but not cosmetically perfect, as you can see in the pictures. Someone also decided to remove one of the volume knobs, so it has one volume and one tone and a spacer in the middle. Why wouldn't you just fix that? Whatever.
I know.
The electronics work. Clean ones are going well over $500, so priced reasonably and again firmly at $200. The pickups are worth half that, but also you already reduced the price to $160, so clearly that price was not firm.
I feel like if a new one in clean condition is going for $500, I'm just gonna buy one of those.
Yeah.
Like I believe that this guy did an amazing setup on this. He's citing measurements that sound like he knows what he's measuring. The setup is not the selling point of this guitar. The original looks of it are stunning. And if I was shopping for something that looked like this, if I picked it up and I played it and I liked it, $500 would not be a question to me. It'd be like, this is a killer looking guitar. I love the look. And I honestly do love that they put a Strat trim on it. It's got a wiggle stick that fits with the vibe of it. But oh my gosh, that neck joint is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Maybe not the worst, but like
really weird.
That is the weirdest. We see a lot of weird on this podcast. That is the weirdest neck joint hack I've ever seen.
I really want to know what it originally
what happened
like.
He says that it was cut off, but how? In what way? Why was this necessary at all?
What's the model called? Washburn Falcon?
Falcon, yeah. Washburn Falcon. I want to see what that heel looks like normally.
So the ones I'm seeing, the American ones are string throughs. Neck through bodies. Let's see if I can find a Japan one.
Like if all this had going funky for it was some normal wear, some buckle rash and stuff like that, and normal wear for an 80s guitar like this, and that the bridge had been replaced but it's installed correctly, I'd probably pay $300 for this. But that neck joint looks so bad. I can't imagine paying more than $75 for this. It looks like a piece of 2x4 that someone very loosely carved and shaped to match whatever's missing of the neck heel. And then there's like wood screws through it. It's probably glued as well, but there's wood screws going through it, and it looks like that wood is about to crack.
Okay, so it looked like that. It looked like a Les Paul. This
is a bolt-on.
So when they cut it off, they cut off the heel. They cut off the whole heel, basically.
Why did they do that? I don't understand what the reason was for cutting away any of this neck was, especially at that angle. Like, none of that makes any sense to me. Unless they cut off the neck and were trying to shave it down to fit it into a different guitar.
I have no idea.
And then they decided, this isn't working, so now I have to put a piece of a wood filler on this.
Yeah, maybe they overcorrected. They were trying to
the fact
shave because they didn't know how to set up the bridge. They were trying to shave down the neck to make the action faster. Or they don't know how
that's a mega shave.
They don't know how a trim or a truss rod works. Something stupid like that. Well, Ryan, I have really bad news for this seller.
Looking at I would understand doing this and, very smoothly sanding the edges to re-put that wood in, which they were so close to being able to do.
Yeah.
Glue it and then reshape it, and it's not going to look perfect, but it would look a lot better than this. I don't understand the screws because that just looks like the wood's about to split.
It's not great. But here's the other thing, man.
What else could there possibly be?
I have some bad news. According to some guy in Akron, Ohio, Grant Wilson sent us this completely out of the blue, unrelated. He sent this to me. According to Akron, Ohio, real guitarists don't play Washburn junk.
Wait, what?
Real guitarists play Gibson, ESP, USA Jacksons, not Washburn junk. I've bought and sold to Amex Music. I've not been screwed over once. Bought some good Marshalls from them and a vintage Echoplex that works great.
What does that have to do with Washburn?
I have no freaking clue. All I took away from this is Akron, Ohio got some meth heads.
Someone's really salty about Washburns in Akron for some reason.
With this amount of trash talk, maybe they should call it Smackrin, Ohio.
Whoa! Make some t-shirts for the town hall gift shop. Smackrin, Ohio.
You want to do one more ad, man?
Yeah, I want to do one more ad.
Just one.
Just one.
And then we're done with this show forever.
Steve started a new book. We've got to fill that book. You have an opportunity to quit the show every time you fill up a book. You had that opportunity last week. It's going to be another 426 episodes. So
if we don't do a wheel of pedals, I'm gonna be able to fit even more episodes in here.
So I was talking to a company on the phone yesterday, and they pitched the idea. Hey, we're coming up with this thing. We're calling it the wheel of pedals. And I was like, okay, I'm going to stop you right there. Steve and I already did it. We did it different than what you're talking about. And what you're doing sounds fun. I'm not going to tell you not to do it, and I think you should do it.
Oh, man. You're going to have to tell me about this when we're done. Presenting the Strong Arm, a 3D printable backplate that lets you mount an effect pedal to your guitar.
I found this posted on Reddit because I spend time on Reddit.
This only will mount on Strats. It will not mount on.
I bet if you found.
I mean, you'd have to get creative.
No, I think you're right. This only goes into the Strat cup. So it is a 3D printed backplate to put onto a guitar pedal, and I'm assuming you're having to do all sorts of hacky stuff with wiring and whatnot within the pedal to connect the plate. But it allows you to surface mount a guitar pedal to your guitar, which obviously in no way would pose any risk to your guitar. So just do it without worry. Like, just attach a metal box to your guitar through the output jack. It's going to be fine, right?
Well, it's 3D printed, so it's plastic.
It's got screws on the bottom and stuff. And it's still going to be knocking around and rotating and scraping and whatnot. Like, it can't be... I guess you could put felt on the bottom to give it a little bit of a spacer, but like...
Okay, so the issue here, the biggest issue I see here is that... I mean,
I've always wanted to have a delay built into a guitar so I can rack the time knob, but this is not the way I want to do it.
The biggest issue here is that this is clearly mounted to a pedal, that was like also like home built.
The dumbest thing to do with this would be to attach it to a tuner pedal.
Yeah, so it doesn't actually, like, you don't really understand how it works. I would understand how this works a lot more, or maybe not a lot more, but at least I could pretend if it was attached to like a pedal that, a Keeley pedal or a big ear pedal, like,
it would be perfect for
like
this?
something else, because
one of those little AWOL pedals.
Oh yeah, make it real little, yeah.
Yeah.
Because what I don't understand is, like you said, like what is that jack connected to?
It's connected somewhere in the pedal. So
which means you have to actually modify your pedal.
No, you have to do surgery on your pedal to make this work. Also, it's plugged into the output of your guitar, which means the pedal is now the output of your guitar. You now have to plug your output cable into this, and now like a cable that's hanging off your guitar is hanging off the pedal that is plugged into your guitar. Which is only you're hanging, like, pedals are not all some of them are heavy. Like this one's kind of heavy.
Yeah.
This one's kind of medium. Like some are very light, but like even this kind of like medium weight one, kind of on the lighter side, like, you think of that weight if you're moving around and it's just
you're thinking
pulling,
it's going to break the jack.
It's just
going to
break
whatever it's plugged into.
It's going to fall out of the jack eventually.
Sure.
Like before it breaks anything, it's just going to fall out. I mean, Mark Mothersbaugh of Devo has a guitar that has all sorts of pedals attached to it, which has been a part of their set for a really long time.
Yeah, it works fine for him.
But they're like screwed down in all sorts of sketchy ways. They're not going anywhere. They're duct taped to the guitar in all sorts of terrible and ugly ways that is perfect for Devo. And I guess this gives you that concept without screws, without Velcro, without duct tape and whatnot. But it's not like you get to try a bunch of different pedals.
Yeah.
You're committing one pedal to it. You're like, this is the pedal that's going to be plugged into my guitar. And at that point, if you're committing one pedal to it, I feel like you're really close to making the case to just installing that circuit board in your guitar somehow. Mm-hmm. You know? Like you're really close to that. Like doing the built thing.
I had really high hopes for this idea.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. There's some gaps.
You know what would be interesting? Because there is a space there. Mm-hmm. And if you're committing a pedal to a guitar, using that hole for the output jack on a Strat to house a circuit, and maybe it protrudes a little bit, and maybe it has an output jack connected to it, but it is something that's meant to screw into there, and it replaces your output jack, and it functions as a circuit.
Oh, replaces the whole thing.
It replaces the entire output jack to house a circuit. Like I think that could be an interesting concept. And there's various different guitars that have plenty of room for that. Like think about that with the Telecaster. You nix the majority of the controls, maybe just go down to a volume, and then you have that entire open slot in there to house a circuit.
Yeah. In the last picture, there's have like just a battery dangling around.
I know, and it doesn't even have an internal battery.
What?
It's precarious. It is a precarious situation.
All right.
That's whatever's in this pedal in this last shot with that battery, that circuit can fit in the guitar.
Yeah.
There's no way it can't, right? Get a Strat with a swimming pool route. You're going to have plenty of space to put a circuit in there.
Just drop it in there.
Just put it in there. It'll work out.
If it's good enough for EMG. It's good enough for you.
Right. I don't know. Maybe someone out there loves this idea and it's going to solve problems for them. But I look at it as it's a head scratcher. 3D printer people. Sometimes you have good ideas.
And sometimes you have this.
Most of the time, I think you're just in it for the printing hobby. I don't think it's about the stuff that you're making. I think it's about the hobby of having printers, which is what we do. It's not any different than collecting guitars when you're not making music that anyone wants to listen to.
Do you think that was printed on TikTok, like where you just find the guy who's live streaming his 3D printing?
It's possible. If I had a 3D printer, I would do that. But then, like, slowly as the thing printed, it would be revealed to be some sort of awful joke thing. And people are like, oh, no, this is what he's printing? Oh, my God. No. And it would get worse and worse as it went.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Like, you would think, like, oh, great. It's definitely phallic. It's definitely phallic. And then at the end of it, it's like a celebrity's face on the end, like, ha ha.
Oh, my gosh.
Like winking at you.
Just what celebrity would you pick?
A long, veiny neck, and then you put it up for auction. I don't know, like Steve-O or something would be a good choice.
Not Joe Bonamassa.
Joe? No, I wouldn't do that to Joe. That's like I would do it to someone who would get it as a joke,
like Mark Agnesi.
I don't think he would like.
I'm just saying words.
You're saying words that are people's names, though.
I'm just saying names.
I don't, there's people that I
just put your own face, okay, Ryan?
I'm not a fan. I put my own face on it. That's the joke that I could get away with, is putting my own face on it. Yeah. And then selling a dildo with my face on the end. Yeah, that's what the world needs.
Can I play the song?
I wish you would.
Please?
I wish you would.
This was sent by Matt. He says, hey guys, so our band Blue Light Special has finally finished our new EP. It only took 2 years of pandemic to get it finished. Here's the soon to be released lead single from the EP called Hard Man. Speaking of 3D printing, it will be available on all the major streaming platforms and our Bandcamp by the end of the month. This is a worldwide exclusive premiere right here. This was sent to us in February.
I'm glad that I took this thing out. And honestly, now that I look at it, I believe that this alien is real.
pretend that you would never want. Got nowhere to go. All my bridges went up in smoke. Got no choice but to keep on keeping on. Save all your strain. I will always keep you at arm's length.
a fun jam.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like soulful, but then also has this swampy southern rock sort of thing going on.
Yeah, no, I liked it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
But what I was gonna say about the Flatwoods monster here, I believe that this alien is real. I believe it's a real alien because, like, you know,
don't think it's a monster. You think
I don't think it's a monster.
alien.
I think it's an alien visitor because it's wearing clothes and it's so biologically weird with this weird cresty thing up here and a fuzzy, cute little face, and it's wearing a dress. It's like, who would make that up? Like, that makes no sense. Like, if you saw this and you like described to someone and you're like, hey, I saw this thing and this is what it looked like. That's not what people come up with as a story when they describe an alien.
Right.
It is so specific. It's like, hey guys, I'm an alien. My people don't usually come through here, but I'm like super duper lost. Can you help me out? Like, I think it's so weird that there's got to be something going on there. So Flatwoods Monster, I believe in you. All right, bye everyone.
Stay grounded.